All right, welcome to the Matchmaker with Letitia Underwood. And today we are going to discuss the first date OMG. Today I'm going live to talk about the first date and the what I see across the metaverse pertaining to the first date and how people are struggling, especially women. Women are struggling, right? So make sure make sure that you are, if you're tuning in for this first time, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you are a subscriber already, thank you for joining me. Make sure you hit the like button and share, because when you share, the channel grows, the algorithm picks it up, and more people could come in and join. So if you think that what I have to say or add value or what I have to offer to other people they can benefit from, go ahead and hit that share button. And with that being said, again, welcome. Okay, welcome. Let me start off this live stream. I don't think she's watching because I don't really know her and she doesn't really know me. But I just want to issue an apology to Miss Kimberly Nicole Foster of the For Harriet channel, YouTube channel. I'm not familiar with her channel. I'm not familiar with her. I'm not familiar with her content, but I was on another channel earlier today and I was asked some comments or to comment on something that she was saying, right? And so I made a comment, and then she reached out to me, and I made a comment about socioeconomic class, and I said I'm not sure which socioeconomic class she's from. And I offended her, and rightly so. She had the right to feel offended by what I said, because I was surmising or asking or guessing if she was in the lower socioeconomic classes. She reached out to me to let me know that she was in fact born and raised in the upper middle class, and that I basically had no right to speak on that, right? I got it wrong. So for that, I apologize if I offended you. That was not my intention to do, because I'm not one for bashing women or putting women down or looking down on women. I simply comment, but however, I will stand on what I said, right? I will stand by my comments that women who act a certain way, they tend to come from a lower socioeconomic class. But because I don't know her, not familiar with her, and she really doesn't know me, I'm pretty sure that was, other than Obsidian's channel, she doesn't really know me. And to hear someone that she doesn't know speaking on her in that manner. So Kimberly Nicole Foster, if this gets back to you, I apologize. I'm not one to go back and forth in the comment section. You're welcome to come on my channel. If you want me to come on yours, I'm fine. We can have a conversation like ladies. Just hit me up on my email. With that being said, okay, so I was watching TikTok. I was on TikTok. TikTok suspended my TikTok shop, so I was upset about that. I was on TikTok trying to figure out how to get my TikTok shop back up and running. And I was just scrolling TikTok. TikTok is this wonderful platform where you could just sit and just watch everybody's little videos, quick videos, and, when you have nothing else to do. And so I was on TikTok just scrolling, and I came across this community of women who are talking about their worst first date stories, right? So now my channel is not about talking about men and the bad qualities of men, right? My channel is for the purpose of helping women to be able to attract high value, successful men for the purpose of dating, relationships, and marriage, right? So I teach women, I educate women on how to do that. But I wanted to use these women's stories as a way to try to help women to understand what's going on in dating and why you're getting the results that you're getting. right? I speak a lot on socioeconomic class. And the reason why I speak a lot on socioeconomic class, because I don't think people realize how much class is an issue here, right? Men who are born in the higher socioeconomic classes, that is middle class, upper class. Those three higher socioeconomic classes. Those men tend to come from two-parent households where their parents are married. They come from a different culture. Their interests or hobbies are significantly different. And I'm talking about men who are born into those socioeconomic classes, not men who got money now. And people think that, oh, money is synonymous with the higher socioeconomic classes. Money really isn't a factor. It's a factor, but it's not as big of a factor, and it's not the only factor. So I'm talking about men who are born and raised, right? They tend to see marriage as something to be valued. So that's something they want, they desire at some point. So when they get into relationships, they tend to take relationships very seriously, especially when they're older, especially when they're settled, right? Once they get in their late 20s, early 30s, they're going to start looking for wives. But also know that women aren't dealing with these type of men, right? And these first date horror stories are letting me know that. These dating skits and these lists that are coming out are letting me know that women aren't really dealing with these type of men. What women are talking about and complaining about are men with no class, men who don't want commitment, they don't want marriage. Let's go to my desk. They don't want marriage, and they have no money, right? And I'm not knocking men who don't have any money. Like, I'm not knocking men who are broke. I'm just saying this channel is not about uplifting broke men. This channel is not about uplifting average men. This channel is not about them. This channel is about and for women who desire to date successful men. He's either going to be high value or he's going to be a high earner, right? So these stories, what women are talking about on social media, just lets me know that they're dealing with these men. So I'm here to show you and tell you that this does not have to be your dating life. This does not have to be your story. But you can't just want different and not put in the work and the effort to achieve different and think that you're going to have a different outcome. So I have these videos. Let me bring them up because I'm going to go over the videos with you. Let's see. Hold on. I got to share my screen here. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Oh boy. I should have. Oh my gosh. I should have. No, that's not what I want to share. Huh. Let's see. How do I share this? Y'all just give me a moment. I thought I knew what I was doing. Okay, let's see. This works. Okay, so that shares that, but I want to share this. Hold on. Let me see if I can open it. Okay, let me see if that comes up. Sorry, you guys. I am not technically savvy at all. Okay, let's see. There we go. Click a lot to. Okay, so hopefully I got it. Hopefully I got it. Y'all bear with me, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. I'm going to get this. I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn. Where did it go? Okay. Okay. Mamiya makes this look so easy. Obsidian just makes this look so easy. Like you guys do all this screen sharing and it just, you make it look so easy. Okay, there we go. Okay, wait, I think I might shut down my channel. If this shuts down, you guys. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Hopefully, let's see. Hopefully this works. Wait. Hopefully this works. If not, then I'm just gonna have to play it and you guys can just hear it and I can't screen share it, which sucks. So there we go. Okay, I think it's gonna work. All right, there we go. Okay. Oh wait. All right. Okay, so I'm going to play this video. Fair use, fair use. I'm going to play this video for you of this young lady. So if anybody's watching, the channel is about, I'm going to go over all of these dates. First date OMG, because I was on TikTok and I was listening to all of these women and these men give their first date horror stories. So, so I'm going to play the first video for you, and then I'm going to break down this date for you. Fair use.
I just think it's kind of giving me like a red flag. Like kind of turned off. Girls with espresso martinis. I'm gonna order an Uber, but I don't have my card, so just sell me or something.
We haven't even gotten our food though.
I mean, I'm not hungry anymore.
Because I ordered an espresso martini?
Yeah, I'm just really turned off.
Okay.
Okay. This is what happens when you're on Tinder. That's what happens when you meet a lot of these guys online. And he decided that he was not going to continue to date because she ordered an espresso martini, but he didn't say if he didn't like girls who drink, like if he didn't like girls who didn't have an alcohol. So that guy is dealing with some serious control issues, right? He was looking for her. He was looking to discard her from the very beginning. So I don't know if she catfished him. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if she catfished him or if he felt like she was not, I don't know, but he said, I don't have my card, so you're gonna have to sell me. Okay, ladies, listen. If a guy takes you out on a date, he asks you out on the date, do not give him any money unless that's something you want to do. If he says, you got to pay me back for something, no. That's when you say, oh, okay, well, give me a second. And then you're like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. And then you make your exit. You go into the bathroom, you call yourself an Uber or a Lyft, or you call somebody to come and pick you up. And you stay in the bathroom until your ride is available. And when your ride shows up, that's when you make your exit. And while you're in the bathroom and he's texting you and everything else, you do not respond. Because a man like that, a man who engages and moves like that, that's not even a man, that's a male. A male who moves and engages like that, he is not deserving of any respect. He is not deserving of any regard. You do not have to be nice or play nice and kind to him just because you want to come off as the good girl. Set some boundaries. And the way I would have handled that, and the way I would have told my daughter to handle that is, oh, I have to pay. You want me to pay you? Okay. All right. Okay. And then I went to the bathroom because the thing is, sometimes you can't sit there outright and tell them no. Because then you're going to get into back and forth. But if you're the type of person that's going to be direct, then yeah, hey, no, I'm not giving you any money. You invited me out. Never sit there and argue with the man and go back and forth with the man trying to be right. He asked you out. If he asks you out, then you don't owe him any money. Okay, so let's go with the next video here. Oh, wait, I gotta do screen share again. Hold on. Oh, it does. So that one. I want this one. Yes, this is the one. Okay. Okay, so this is the next date. Here we go.
Yeah, honestly, this month I made over probably 50K just in stocks, though. Usually I use Discord and stuff. I can try to show you, honestly, if you want.
So you make a lot of money?
Oh yeah. Okay, but you can slide the
Ladies. Okay, ladies. You have to. So this is a guy who sat there and talked about everything that he is doing, how much money he makes, right? And then he's like just slide me your card under the table. And then she's like, why? And he was like, because you have to prove your worth to me. You guys need to vet these men on their commitment, and you need to vet them very quickly. Stop going out with these guys just because they look good. Stop going out with these guys just because they look good. Okay. So when you are doing online dating, right? When you're dealing with men in the lower social economic class, this is what they're going to do. They are going to front. They are going to perpetrate like they, as if they got it like that, and they don't. And what they are, so what he is trying to do is he is projecting, right? He doesn't have any value. He's projecting, he's trying to act as if he do, but he's trying to act as if him having all this value, him making all this money, him doing all of this. And so he's now trying to use her and get her to pay for him because he's quote unquote high value and she needs to prove her worth. High value men do not function and operate like that. That's how you know you're dealing with a man who is not high value. High value men do not play games. I don't care what they're saying on YouTube. I don't care. High value men don't play that. There is no way a high value man is going to look at a woman and say, you got to pay for me. That is a man who is in his feminine. He wants to be taken care of. He wants to be provided for. And he's trying to manipulate her by saying he's a high value man. And he's not. High value men do not sit there and say, slip me your card under the table. Oh, you're going to pay for this date because you got to prove your worth to me. No, that was a man who knew that he was good looking and it worked before, and he could get women to pay for him because women are so desperate to be with a man like him. And I guarantee he has to be good looking, right? And so women are falling for this. He's online, he's pulling women in, he's telling women that he's successful, making women think that he's successful, and then he pursues them, asks them out, and then he pulls the old okey doke of, I'm a high value man, so now you have to pay for me. Ladies, high value men do not operate like that. High value men do not have this princess attitude, this princess mindset. They have this hero complex, if anything else. They have this knight in shining armor, right? They're not going to want to be taken advantage of. They're not going to allow themselves to be taken advantage of. But they're not going to put themselves in a position to be taken care of by a woman. So you have to do better at vetting these men and figuring out if they're truly what they say they are. So let's move on to the next horror date story.
Okay, so a guy that I've had a crush on forever slid in my DMs and asked I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, maybe it's definitely just like, I don't know what I was thinking, actually. I don't know why I'm trying to narrate what I was thinking. I just walked over to the table and he was like, hi, this is my friend. And I was like, okay. Like, I thought maybe she was just, I don't know, passing by. Nope. So I sit down at this table and he's like, how are you? And I'm like, good. How are you guys? Plural. He was like, oh, we're good. And then he starts just talking to her, doesn't give me any intro, any explanation. I'm confused. I really, at this point, still thought that maybe she was just like walking by and like happened to know him. But also, she was like very comfortable in her seat. She also.
Okay, let me start over.
Okay, so a guy that I've had a crush on for.
So let me start over because I didn't realize that if I'm muted, you can't hear. So let me start over. Let me set this up to where I am going over women's worst first dates, breaking them down, because I want women to see how they are a problem here. I want to use this as an educational moment for women to see how they are, in fact, the problem when it comes to their dating. Now, I'm not here to drag or bash women, but I just want you to understand that the decisions that you make, and this was one of the worst ones I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how the story played out. So I didn't know you couldn't hear me when I was muted, so I'm going to start over. So here it is.
Okay, so a guy that I've had a crush on forever slid in my DMs and asked if I wanted to get dinner with him. And I was, oh my God, I was so excited. So I told all my friends and they were so excited for me. I mean, like this, he's just a super popular guy and everyone likes him. He's so cute, so nice. I could not believe that this guy was like cold open asking me on a date, but I was so excited. I was like, well, I'm not gonna question it. I'm just gonna show up. So I get ready. I show up to the restaurant. He's already there. I asked where he was sitting, and then I couldn't find him anywhere. And I look around. I see him sitting in the corner at a table with another girl. So what do you do? I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, maybe it's definitely just like, I don't know what I was thinking, actually. I don't know why I'm trying to narrate what I was thinking. I just walked over to the table and he was like, hey, this is my friend. And I was like, okay. Like, I thought maybe she was just, I don't know, passing by. Nope. So I sit down at this table and he's like, how are you? And I'm like, good. How are you guys? Plural. He was like, oh, we're good. And then he starts just talking to her. Doesn't give me any intro, any explanation. I'm confused. I really, at this point, still thought that maybe she was just like walking by and like happened to know him. But also, she was like very comfortable in her seat. She ordered a drink. So I was like, oh my God, is this like a 2-on-1? Are we like on The Bachelor right now? Imagine a guy you really like asks you on a date and you show up and he's also on a date with another girl at the same time. What do you do? I don't know what to do. And it's not even like it was like a group like thing because she wasn't talking to me at all. Yeah, I know. I'm mad too. The waiter comes and asks what we want to eat. And I was like, this is definitely her cue. Like, she definitely is somewhere more important to be. Nope. She orders an entree. So the three of us go on a date. We're on a date together. And I was literally in shock. Like, I didn't know. And then I started gaslighting myself. I was like, wait, why did I think this is a date? Like, it's definitely just a fun group thing. But what kind of fun group thing is that when neither of them are really even talking to me? Neither of them are even talking to me. So, and also a single guy asking a single girl to get dinner with her. Isn't that a date, right? I don't know. That's a date. So now it's time to leave. And I mean, I feel like I did not say 4 words to this guy, but he asked if I wanted to ride home. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'm down. We get in the car and he kisses me. So what is this? Was that a date? I don't know. I was in shock. I don't even know why I let him kiss me when that was the weirdest thing I've ever done. After he texted me and asked me what I thought about his Instagram. And I was like, it's a guy's Instagram. What do you want me to say? And he was like, no, I mean, like, I've been thinking about hiring someone to run my Instagram. And I was like, so that was a group interview to win a job, I guess, and someone to make out with. Why did he make out with me if he was trying to hire me? For like 10 minutes, by the way. So, yeah.
Okay, so that was one of the like, here's the thing. So she starts off saying that I met this hot guy. I've been liking him, and so I've been wanting him to ask me out, so he finally asked me out. And then she gets there and she finds out there's another one there, and so she gives you the story and she breaks it all down. And then it turns out that it looked like the guy was just interviewing her or what, but yet he wanted sex. Like, you can see she's a very attractive young lady. She's a very beautiful young lady. Ladies, y'all. So he's hot. Like, I'm just gonna play the next one. I'm just gonna play the next one because, like, y'all just this. What are y'all expecting when you go out on a date with someone, right? What are you all expecting on these dates from these men? When you are dating a man who has so many options, he's not going to take you seriously. He doesn't have to. He's non-committal. He doesn't want a relationship. And so he's not going to put any effort into the date. It is what it is. So let's see. Let me find the next one. I'm just going to Okay. This one. Let me go to this one right here. I'm just going to the next one. I'm just gonna play all of these, and then I'm just gonna break it all down because this is sad. This is sad that this is you guys are having to deal with this, and you're letting yourself go through this. But okay. All right. Next one up.
So, listen, I need you to answer this question.
Okay.
Do you play any video games?
Maybe sometimes I have a Switch.
Wow. So, like, what do you do with that?
You know, like put it into the slot and put it on the TV.
Wow.
Wow.
So, like, listen, I don't want to be in, like, a controlling relationship,
Oh.
but do you think there's any chance that maybe you can, like, control me? Like, I can give you a controller and you can plug it in me.
Yeah,
and
I'm not.
play me like a video game.
I'm not into butt stuff, but you know.
I'm literally hiding in the fucking bathroom right now. What do I do? Should I call my mom and tell her to come and do like, what do I do? I need an excuse. Should I say that like my mom died? I don't know. What do I do?
Hey.
Hi.
I just got a call in the bathroom from my doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to be weird and bring it up on the. I'm pregnant.
Holy moly, guacamole, tamale.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me about
I
this?
didn't know.
I can't. She had to say she's pregnant to get out of the date. And as you can see, these women are attractive. Like the videos that I played of the women, these women are attractive. So your looks are not what's causing you to get suckered into these bad dates. It's your pickers. It's your pickers, ladies. It's your pickers or who you're in proximity to, where you're meeting these guys. Most of these weird guys are going to be online, and I'm going to tell you, high value men are just not online. They're not. You're going to find them out in some high class area, or you're going to find them through a matchmaker. It's as simple as that. But these guys, she had to. It seemed to me like, because he had on a Fortnite t-shirt, like he had a Fortnite sweatshirt on. So clearly, I'm pretty sure he looked that way in his video, but she might have just been like, hey, I'm just going to give him a try. I'm bored. I have nothing else going on, and let's see what comes of this. And then she ends up in that situation. That's all right. Next one. Okay. Let's see the next one. Oh boy. These are just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. This is all righty. All right, next one. Here we go.
All right, you guys.
Did you really come back with 2 separate checks?
Yeah, that's what I was asking you.
You're really gonna make me pay?
You get some eggs?
No.
Well, anyways, man, here goes 2. She's not gonna give you what?
Wait, fair use. And please, you guys, I don't have any control over these videos. So if you hear people cussing, I know I have a no profanity channel, but hey, these are not my videos, so I can't control people saying them. So if you hear some cuss words, it's okay.
No ass. That's crazy.
Man.
Wait,
Are you?
I'm gonna pay the 15. At least show a kneecap.
Fuck you.
See, that's your bro. You don't want to. That's your bro.
He's really making me pay, you guys.
Hey, how you get home?
You're fucking taking me home. You're taking me home.
You got gas?
No.
You want to give that to the ride?
No. You're taking me home.
I think you heat up the food.
All right, you guys. He's making me pay for my food because I won't have sex with him. That's a sad shame. Look at this man. Don't ever go out with him. Don't give him your number. Just fucking run.
Y'all hoes is hungry.
I'm sorry. Okay, that was funny. What he said at the end, he is funny because he's right. Because look at him, right? Look at him. He knows the deal. He knows what's going on. He knows how he looks. His beard is scraggly, right? His hair doesn't even look brushed. His t-shirt is not ironed. It wasn't. It doesn't even fit right. It had just been in the wash one too many times. It's a very old raggedy t-shirt. But he also knows and understands that if beautiful women are approaching or are accepting his invite, it's because they're trying to get a free meal. So his mindset is, if you want a free meal, I'm going to get something out of the deal too. So he's looking for sex, and then he's determining that, hey, if you're not going to give me sex, then I'm not paying for your meal. Now that is a conversation that should happen up front, but I think he's playing this game because he knows women are playing with him. So ladies, when you play with certain men, that's what's going to happen. Like, you went on, and I'm pretty sure she met him online. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of these meets are happening online, right? And this is what you get. This is what happens when you're meeting these guys online. This is crazy. Let's go to the next one. He said y'all are hungry. And I can't say that he's lying. I can't say that he is lying, because why else would you go out on a date with a guy that you don't like, right? A guy who you're not attracted to. Why would you go out? You want a free meal. All right, let's see. Next one, fair use, fair use, fair use. Again, I do not condone any profanity that may happen on these videos. All righty, let's see. Worst date ever, date from hell. Let's see.
Worst date ever, date from hell. Let's jump right in. He was on his phone as soon as we got to the Swan Lake. When I finally said something about it, he assured me that it was just his job. We ran out of gas on the way to the restaurant. He didn't like me taking pictures of myself and was like, let daddy be in the videos. Can't make this up. When it was time to pay, he asked, do you have your credit card on you?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, that looked like a really nice date. The little swan boats where I'm at here in Florida, downtown Orlando. They have the swan boats, and it's really nice, and it's really beautiful at night. I like it. I think that's a good vibe for a date. You're sitting there, the water, they just hearing the water, and it's just the two of you. It's an intimate setting, and you're just paddling and talking, but you also have scenery around, right? It's very relaxing. That is a good date. But then he's not even paying any attention to her. That lets me know that she probably catfished him. Like, she catfished him. Like, she didn't look like she did in her pictures. And so he wasn't into her. And then he got to the restaurant, go to follow through with the date. Now you got to pay for yourself because you catfished them. So, all right, next one. This is, oh my gosh. These are great. Okay, I'm gonna bring up one from a guy. I'm gonna let a guy tell his side of the story, why he had a horrible first date. Fair use, fair use. Again, if you hear any profanity, I do not condone nor acknowledge any profanity. But hey, these are not my videos, so it is what it is.
Oh my God, the girl this is about finally blocked me so I can finally talk about it on my story, dude. I went on the worst date of my fucking life. The worst date ever. So me and this girl, we're gonna go to a movie. We are hanging out before the movie. She's talking about her ex and his micro penis, like for an hour. And I'm just like, okay, I get it. I don't care. And then we get to the movie theater, and she points at some guy working behind the counter, and it's like, that's him. That's my ex. He has a very small penis. I'm like, okay, let the fucking man live. Jesus Christ, he's just trying to work. And then after the movie, which was the Northman, by the way, very good movie, we're walking around Mayfair, and she's like, oh, hey, I have chlamydia. I like to be nutted in. Do you think you'd ever want to nut in me? Would you ever have a kid with me? First date, first time I'm ever meeting this girl. And I'm like, what? So I don't talk to her after that. And then today she's like, hey, by the way, I think I'm going to move on. I don't think this is going to work out. Obviously.
My gosh. Oh my goodness. And people have the nerve to talk about matchmaking and how it does not benefit. Date coaching is not a real thing. It's not necessary. You can see these people. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, who does that? Like, first date. Like, so she clearly, when she saw him, she wasn't into him. So she engaged in sabotage. That's why she started talking about her ex's penis. She didn't care. She knew what she was doing. She did not care because she was not into him. Look at him. Right? And I'm not trying to throw anybody in the bus, but I'm just saying, like, look at him. She was not sexually attracted to him. She wasn't sexually into him. So she was sabotaging. If anybody's ever watched How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and how she systematically tried to sabotage. I mean, in the movie, it's different because it was Kate Hudson, who was a hot woman. Matthew McConaughey was a hot guy. He was non-committal. And she was non-committal. And then they ended up getting back together. Well, that's movies. That doesn't happen in real life. When women sabotage in real life, it's because when women and men sabotage in real life, it's because they realize that they're not into the person. There's no sexual attraction. So she wasn't sexually attracted to him, and she sabotaged the date. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Fair use, fair use, fair use, everybody. Let's see what the next one. Okay, that was that one. Okay, what's the next one? Okay, alrighty. Next one is on deck. Let me move this over here, and then I'll bring up the next one. This is. But matchmakers and date coaching does not matter. It has no benefit yet, as we can see by these horrible first dates. People need me.
It was our first date, and he would not stop being controlling.
Just be the woman does as the man tells her to do. End of story, no questions asked, just do it.
What? That does not make any sense.
I needed an excuse to leave, so I pressed my Invisaware bracelet twice. They agreed to help and left a voicemail with an excuse to leave the date.
Oh my God, Lauren, I need you to pick up. I'm freaking out right now. I'm on the side of the road. I have a flat tire and it's pouring.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And I can tell, okay, so that guy had a nice body, right? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's like women's pickers, y'all pickers are, your pickers are off. Like, where are you meeting these people? Where are you meeting these awful guys? Put in the chat where you're meeting these guys. Like, I'm here to help you because you clearly need it. You clearly need it. Because this is awful that women have these many first dates, horrible first date stories. And then it's like, it's always the men's fault. And I'm telling you, ladies, it's not just the men. You have some control over this. Like, you are going out with men that you're not attracted to, right? And then they show you, not only are they not physically or sexually attractive, but they show you they're not emotionally attractive either, right? Because there's nothing there. You see the red flags, you hear the red flags in conversation before you go out on the first date, and you're like, at least I can get a free meal. Or I'm just going to see, I'm going to look past it. And then you go out on a date, and then it's the worst date of your life. And then you want to get on social media and complain about how the guy is awful, but you shouldn't went out with him to begin with. All right, next video on deck, fair use, fair use, fair use. Again, I do not condone any profanity. So other people's videos I'm sharing, so it's not, don't take it out on me when you hear profanity. These people are just, people like to cuss, so fair use, fair use, fair use.
So this guy asked me on a date, and when I tell you he was hot, like,
I mean, he was hot. Tall, blue eyes, brown hair, literally exactly my type. So, of course, I said yes. I mean, I was excited. So, anyways, he was like, let's go see a movie. And I know what you're thinking, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, a movie on the first date, like, how are we supposed to get to know each other? Plus, that's kind of sketch, because we all know why boys want to go see movies with girls. But me being stupid, I was like, okay, sounds great. Plus, I mean, this guy was so cute, and he seemed like he was just my type. So I was honestly willing to do anything at this point. Fast forward, it's the day of the date, and I text him and I'm like, hey, are you picking me up or are we meeting there? Honestly, kind of hoping that he would pick me up, because I mean, like, that's what, you know, guys should do. And he responded and was like, no, like, you can just meet me there. So I got in my car and I drove half an hour to the movie theater that he wanted to go to because it was closer to his house. And again, me being stupid. So I drive to the movie theater and I get there at 11:15 a.m., which was so weird. Like, we saw it in the morning. So I got there at 11:15 a.m., which is right when we said we were going to meet each other. So I'm just kind of sitting in my car in the parking lot, like, waiting for him to show up because I didn't know what kind of car he drove. About 15 minutes pass and there's still like no sign of this kid. So I text him, call him, no response. At this point, the movie is about to start and I'm still just waiting in this parking lot all by myself. I definitely should have just left, but like I said, this guy was really hot and I wasn't about to miss out. Finally, I get a text and it says, I'm running late, be there in 5 minutes. 15 minutes later, he finally shows up and the movie has already started. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, he looked like crap. Like, he looked like he literally just rolled out of bed. We go into the movie theater and he has me pay for my own ticket, which was kind of a red flag. And we go into the movie and it's a 3-hour movie about cars. And luckily it was already about 20 minutes into the movie, so I didn't have to sit there for the full 3 hours. And like, I was clearly pissed off at this point, but this boy started to try to make moves on me in the movie theater. I was so not having it. So finally the movie ended and he like tried to hug me goodbye and I just dodged the hug, got in my car and never spoke to him again. But funny thing, he still tries to hit me up to this day.
That wasn't a flex that she thought it was, right? She thought, oh, you know, I get on social media and tell everybody how horrible this guy was and how, you know, how horrible he was and how horrible the date was. And, but girl, that was not the flex. He made you pay for your own ticket. Once he did that, he showed his behind. He really showed what he thought about you and how he felt. But this is, so let's take it back to what she said. He was hot. He was good looking, right? And then he shows up, he looks like a mess, right? We all know. And so when men say, when it comes down to the men that women really like, the men that really they desire, they'll go for it. They'll do anything. If he was not hot, if he was not attractive, she would have not have paid for her own ticket. She would have showed her behind. And the moment he showed up looking like a bum, she would have been out of there, right? But she went along with it. She paid for her own ticket. She accepted that he showed up like she showed up like he was late, and then he didn't even reach out to her to let her know that he was going to be late. So that was a red flag. She should have left right then and there. 2, then he shows up looking like a bum. She was accepting of that because she's hot. And then he made her pay for her own ticket and she accepted it because he was hot. This is a male who is used to getting by on his looks and he's used to having women jump through hoops. I'm just going to be honest with you, ladies. That's what you're going to get with very attractive men. They're just like very attractive women. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to do all the normal, regular stuff that the lesser attractive people do. They get to get by on their looks. And then you want to get on social media and then you want to complain about how, oh, he's such a horrible guy. Well, stop dating hot guys. Stop dating guys because they look good. Like, you knew nothing about him. You weren't interested in knowing anything about him. You weren't interested in getting to know him. You just went off the fact that he's hot. All righty. Next video. Let's see. Next video. You just went off of that he's hot, so you weren't interested in getting to, oh, this one right here, you guys. Oh my gosh. This one right here. This one right here. I was just like, I was floored. I said, what the French toast? Okay, so fair use. Fair use. Again, I do not condone profanity, and these are not my thoughts. These are not my words. So this is, so if you hear profanity, again, these are not my videos. Fair use, fair use.
With a man on a date in 2015, easily one of the worst dates of my life. It's 2015, newly adult, on my own. A man that I was acquaintances with in college, not close, but acquaintances with, messages me on social media and says, hey, I think you're cute. I'd like to take you out. Mistake number one, I say yes. It's not even a mistake. Mistake number one, he was a criminal justice major. I said what I said, and I'm not sorry. Red flag. He suggests he makes me dinner at his apartment. Great. Mistake number two, I agreed to let this man pick me up in his car, drive me to his apartment, where then I had no car, so it's like I was trying to get murdered. So we get to his apartment. We had great talks in the car. Everything was going fine. We get to his apartment. And I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. He opens the door. I walk around the corner. First of all, there's no table. This apartment does not have a table. It has a coffee table, but there is no like table, nor bar stools at the island. There's just no seats and surfaces of any kind of table eating situation. On this couch and this, coffee table, there is 6 men. This mid to small size couch is 6 men deep, watching cops loudly and drunk off their butts. Which, like, I don't care what you do in your own home. That's your prerogative. I just don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. In this season of my life, I didn't know how to do confrontation well. So when he gestured to the floor next to the coffee table and said, sit down, I'll make you a plate. That's what I did. He proceeds to walk to the crock pot on the kitchen island and scoop onto a plate a bell pepper with clearly unseasoned ground turkey in it, and just plop that little sucker on the plate as clear or near clear liquid oozes out of it. He then hands me an already opened beer, not one he opened for me, a beer from the counter that was clearly already open. A room temperature pre-opened beer.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta find part 2. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is, y'all, like, this is crazy. But after I play these videos, I'm going to get into why I'm playing these videos. Okay. But of course, matchmakers and date coaches, they serve no purpose. People aren't struggling out here. People don't need it. These videos say otherwise. All right, part 2, fair use, fair use, fair use. Part 2.
On it, my bad, fell asleep, toddler, you get it. Anyways, hi Claire, go moving on. Okay, let's just like recap. On the floor, eating this flavorless food or pretending to eat this flavorless food, engaging with the roommates, we're talking, they're really drunk, but like they're being very nice and like fine, we're watching cops, whatever. Eventually, well then very quickly, right? Like very, very quickly in this process, he stops talking to me. Like he's no longer making eye contact, he's not talking to me. He actually eventually walks into a bedroom that I'm assuming is his bedroom, okay? I feel uncomfortable. This is weird. We're supposed to be on a date. Also, this is no longer a date. This is like borderline, could very quickly transition into like passive kidnapping territory, okay? Right? Because if you remember, I don't have a car. I am a dumbass who let him drive me to his house and I don't have a car. So at this point, I have a conversation with myself, right? Like, so, yes, I feel weird. This isn't safe. We're going to go. We're great. Awesome. How? How are we going to go? Call a friend, Uber, fine. Great. Awesome. Good plan. Glad we talked. Great plan. Love it. Let's do it. I text a friend who actually lives in this building. I had like a moment of realization, like, oh shit, my friend lives here. I'm going to text her and have her pick me up and take me back to my house because it'll be faster than an Uber, right? Right about this time, this man comes out of his bedroom and he has clearly taken something. I don't know what. I don't really care. As long, it's your house. Do what you want. But I am like, we're done. you're done. We're done. We're moving on. I go tell him, I'm going to go ahead and leave. Like, I'm going to go. Bye. He proceeds to tell me, no, I'm not leaving. In fact, we're all going out to Dixon, which is like our street where all the bars and like the lit party street is. Like, we're going out. I beg your pardon? No, he's like looking at me going, no, you're not leaving. We're going out. And I'm like, no, you're going out. I'm leaving. Like, I'm actually leaving. He proceeds to go stand in front of his front door and say, no, you're not leaving. We're all going out together and you're coming. Thankfully, I just kind of look at him and I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm going. Get out of the way. He does. He moves out of the way. And I walk downstairs. My friend is there. We go to her car. She drives me home. Everything is fine. Lesson learned. Men are trash. Vet better. And drive yourself.
Okay, the lesson that she should have learned was don't go to a man's house on the first date. Like, you're meeting these men off online. You don't know who they are. Don't go to their home. It's okay. It's kind of okay to let them pick you up. Like she said, she didn't have a car, right? Uber, right? But always have an exit plan. But never, ever, ever go to these men's home on the first date. Like, you don't know him. You knew nothing about him. You didn't know that he had roommates, right? And obviously there was not any conversations there to where it's like, what's the plan? What are we doing? It's like, oh, just come over to my house. And okay, because she's a single mom and she wants human company. And this is what happens when you are making poor decisions in your life, right? And there's consequences to your decisions that you're making. Now, I don't know if she had a child out of wedlock or she's divorced, right? But I'm pretty sure her husband probably an a-hole. That's just how it goes. Like, her husband is no good, ex-husband is no good, or the father or whatever is not in the picture because she doesn't have a car. Let me tell you, a high value man is not going to ask you to his home. He doesn't even know you. He doesn't want you in his space because he doesn't know you. He doesn't know what you're capable of. So you guys have to learn distinction and discernment in the type of men that you're dealing with. But when you elevate yourself and you build up your self-confidence and you build up your self-worth and you have boundaries and you have a set standard, you're not going to find yourself in those predicaments. Yeah, and they're not going to a house on the first date. Like, it wasn't even a house, it was his apartment. And he had either roommates, and I don't knock men for having roommates, so that wasn't the issue. It was he didn't even communicate that to her. There was no communication about what they were doing or anything. Okay. All right. So we're going to go on to the next one. Okay. That one already did. That one already did. Did that one. Yep. Did that one. Okay. No, that's part 2. Find part 1. Okay. Did that one. Wait, where's part 2? Where's part 1? Oh, did I not? Oh, I know where part 1 is at. Darn it. Okay. Let me see here. Let me find it. Okay. Good. No. No, that's not the one. Alrighty. Where is it at? Okay. No. All right. So, all right. Moving on. I'll find it. I'll figure it out. Okay. So fair use. On to the next video. Again, fair use. These words and profanity is not something that endorsed by the matchmaker. So you hear it. It is what it is. Fair use.
What is the worst date you've ever been on?
He was like 45 minutes late to the date, and then he showed up and he sat down at the table, and it was like his first day on planet Earth. Like he was looking at the bar menu like as if he'd never been to a bar before. He was like, what are you getting? And I was like, vodka soda. And he looked at me like I was an alcoholic, and I was like, all right. I was like, what are you getting? He's like, I don't know, my mom usually orders my drinks for me. I know. So I was like, and he's like, I think I like rum. I was like, all right, get a rum and Coke. Anyway, the waitress comes over. He looks to me to order for him as if I'm his mother, and then doesn't put a card down. And the waitress is like, I need a card on file. And he looks at me, and I was like, and so then I put a card down. This man then proceeded to order a few rounds of drinks and his dinner on my card and did not pay, and then walked me to my car and was like, we should do this again. And I was like, yeah, I bet you would. I bet you'd love to do this again, sir.
And how old is he that he was having his mom order for him?
35.
No.
Oh my god. Like that. How do you meet a guy? Like, if he doesn't even know how to order drinks, how are you even engaging? Like, how is he even engaging? Like, how does he even ask you out? Like, how does that even happen? And then he gets to the restaurant and then he's acting like he doesn't know what he's doing. Ladies, you have to keep in mind that sometimes these men, they're playing a game. That guy knew what he was doing. He knew how to order. He was sabotaging that date. Like, how does he come across so amazing and great to where you're like, sure, I'll go out with you. Let's hang out, right? For him to get to the date to where now he just is completely inept. He was playing. When he showed up, she wasn't. It wasn't giving. She wasn't. I don't know, something about her. He wasn't attracted to her. She wasn't appealing, and he decided to sabotage. And you know, the way that they decide to sabotage is the way that they decide to sabotage. He sabotaged, and he acted like he was inept, and she fell for it. I would have never pulled out my card. If you ask me out on a date, I am not pulling out my card. The date is over at that point. Well, no, I'm not pulling out my card. Or I'm like, you have your, well, okay, maybe we should go somewhere else, or you know, okay, maybe we should, you know, like, okay, well, it's okay if this is just not going to work out for us. Make your leave. But you know who's not going to make you pull out your card? You know who's not going to play these games? High value men. High value men. I hear these stories from women all the time. They reach out to me, Letitia, I'm tired. I don't want to deal with this anymore. The anxiety and the fear, the anxiety and the feeling of wanting to give up is what's going on, because women are going on these type of dates. They're dealing with these type of men. And I keep telling women over and over again that, you know what, high value men who want marriage, and I'm not talking about high earning men, I'm talking about actual high value men in the higher socioeconomic classes who are seeking a wife, do not play these games, right? Even if a woman is not what he desires, he's not going to play that game. He's going to be like, okay, you know, he's going to go along with the date, and because he asked her out, and then, you know, he's not going to call her again. He's going to tell her it was nice hanging out with you and I enjoy myself. And then you're just not going to hear from him again. But he's not going to be rude, and he's not going to put you in a position to feel completely uncomfortable. Masculine men do not play these games with women. but y'all continue to want to put yourself in position to have to put up with this. And I don't understand why. I just don't understand it. When are women going to accept the fact that this is what's out here in the dating pool, right? Men who are seeking to get sex, and really, that's really all that they want. They just want to have sex, or they just want companionship, and they don't have any money, and so they're playing these games. All right, so I'm gonna play this other one. I don't know what I did with part 1, but maybe hopefully you guys can get the gist from this video. So again, on to the next video. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Again, I do not condone or endorse any profanity on this channel. These are not my videos, so it is what it is. So again, fair use, fair use.
Like the body's a temple, and who you share your body with is one of the most important things ever, especially as a girl, right? Freaking, what's your body count, by the way? Like how many kills do you have? I'm at like, honestly, like 100, 120. I just be out and about doing my thing. You know, as a guy, I feel like it doesn't matter as much. You know, you gotta be more charming, captivating, and funny. But like, yeah, how many do you have?
A lot less than that.
Around a range?
Under 10.
Under 10? That's under 10 too much, you know? Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay. Can we get the check? I have to go home. Like, my stomach kind of hurts.
She decided to make her exit. So the first part of that video that I can't seem to find is that she's on a date with a guy and he's proceeding to, spew red pill logic at her, red pill rhetoric at her. And then he got to the body count and he starts to say that he has been with over 120 women. And she's looking at him like, geez. And then he asked her, her body count. She's like 10. And he's like, wow, that's too much. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know who's not going to ask you about your body count because he doesn't have to? A high value man. A high value man is not going to ask you about your body count. So listen up. Okay, I think I've gone through all the videos. If you want to send me some date videos, there's a video that I got one for you guys. This is from, hold on. This video is from a man. He is telling you the red flags and the red signs of a guy, that if you're seeing all of these signs, to just walk away. And that's the thing. Women just ignore the signs. And I don't understand why. Why are you ignoring the signs? When a man shows you who he is, believe him. But you guys still want to get in that, well, I just gotta see. I gotta see. Because he's hot enough, because you like him. You're not doing that with, I know you're not doing that with men you don't want to sleep with. You're doing this with men that you do want to sleep with. And then you get into these bad date situations. All right, fair use, fair use, fair use.
He says, I'm sorry, I've been busy with work all day.
Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go.
He says, I'm sorry, I've been busy with work all day.
Okay, so the video starts off what he says versus what he means. And it's from this TikTok channel from my French husband. So it's a French man who is telling women how, they need to, what a guy says versus what he means. And so when a guy says one thing, he's telling you what he actually means. So
I just saw your text.
So hold on. Okay.
Sorry, I've been busy with work.
Start over. Okay.
He says, I'm sorry, I've been busy with work all day. I just saw your text. It means work is a convenient excuse. I'm reaching out now because I have nothing better to do. Welcome to the first episode of what he says versus what he means, and I hope it will help. He says, my ex is crazy. It means I don't take responsibility for my part in failed relationships. He says, I'm not a big planner. He means I want you to do all the work. He says, I'm just really focused on my career right now. He means I don't want to invest in a relationship. He says, let's just see where things go. He means I'm not ready to commit, but I like the idea of having you around. He says, it's not you, it's me. He means it's you, but I don't want to hurt your feelings. He says, I don't want to label things. He means I want to keep my options open. He says, you're too good for me. He means I don't want to make the effort. He says, I don't want to talk about the future. He means I don't see you in mind. He says, I'm just really complicated. He means I'm not willing to work on myself. He says, I don't want to ruin our friendship. He means I'm not interested in a romantic relationship with you. Remember, true luxury is finding someone whose actions don't require translation.
Exactly. Period. Right? Like a marriage-minded man, a man who is serious about you will never leave you guessing. He will never leave you wondering what his intentions are. Once you start trying to figure out what are you doing here, what's going on, he's showing you already that he's not serious. So women have to, you need to fix your pickers. Like you need to choose better. You need to understand the signals. You need to understand the psyche and the mindset of men. And as you can tell, a lot of these women were they were fit, and they were attractive. They were very, very attractive. So I don't want anybody to think that, oh, your looks is the problem. Looks is part of it, right? But even good looking, attractive women are struggling because they have something else going on in the back end to where they're not being chosen by the men that they truly want, the men who have the good qualities. They're not choosing correctly, basically. All the good looking women were going after good looking hot men. Good looking hot men in their 20s and early 30s are not going to be looking for a relationship. I'm just sorry. They're not. Unless they've reached a level in their career that they're ready to settle down, unless, he's got some other factors, right? Because then he's going to have to give women. So even if he's good looking and got money, if he's short, he is going to be more open to a relationship. If he's just short and no money, he's going to be open to a relationship. If he's unattractive, he's going to be open to a relationship. If he's non-select, he's going to be open to a relationship. Really hot men and women, when they are in their 20s, early 30s, are not going to be open to relationships because they're too focused on having fun. FOMO is going to kick in, fear of missing out. They're not ready to commit. They're not ready to settle down. They don't need to. They're having too much fun, right? They're getting the people that they want to get. So when you're dealing with men just on a superficial level, you're going to get superficial level treatment. He's not going to take you seriously. So as you can see, a lot of the pretty, good-looking, hot women were having the same problem. So this is not necessarily about looks, even though looks will increase your options, but you also have to be mindful of where you're meeting men. And a lot of women are stuck in the house. And when you're stuck in the house and you're online trying to meet these guys on Tinder, I couldn't believe how many women were meeting men on Tinder. Like seriously, Tinder started off as a hookup app, and it's still for the purpose of short-term engagement. So you can't really have any expectations of the men on Tinder. And then on the app like Bumble is now for masculine men. Masculine men don't want to be pursued or chased. They like to do the chasing. So if you're on Bumble, that means you're a woman who likes to take control. That means you're going to have to take control throughout the whole relationship, meaning these men are going to be expecting women to approach them, ask them out, set up the date. And even if he sets up the date, he's going to expect you to pay for the date. That's what Bumble is. A lot of those men who are attracted to being taken care of, they're going to expect, that's how they're going to, that's expectation. When you're on Hinge, it's easy to figure out a man's, his intentions, because Hinge allows them to put what they're looking for. If he says long term but open to short, next. If he says open to short but considers He says he wants short term, but he's open to long term. Next. If he says, I don't know, I'm just figuring out my dating options. Next. If he has anything other than monogamy and he's like, I'm just trying to figure out my dating style. Next. You don't give these men an inch. You don't give them a shot. They're telling you what they want. And I don't understand why women look at this and say, that's not what are you looking at that and thinking that's not true? Like that's not real? Like, or is it that you don't know what you want? So you get with the guy that he doesn't know what he wants, and then you like him so much, and now you want him, and he still doesn't know what he wants, and now you're frustrated because you're not aligning. Well, it doesn't work like that. If you know what you want, you only go after guys who know what they want. If you are interested in, you don't know what you want, then you have to understand what you're going to get is what you're going to get. But you know who does not play these games? High value men, marriage-minded men, men who are seeking wives do not play these games. They're very, very serious about their intent. They're very, very serious about what they're looking for. But a lot of you don't have discernment. You lack distinction, and you don't know how to choose between the good and the bad. Like you don't even know the type of questions to ask, and then you don't even know how to extricate yourself, ladies. If a guy asks you on a date, it's not going well, stop being afraid and pulling out your card or doing stupid stuff, allowing yourself to be in positions that you will regret. When you have self-worth and you have confidence and you have strong boundaries, you'll be able to resolve conflict. And you can resolve the conflict by saying, you asked me out on this date, so I'm not pulling out any cards or cash or anything. In fact, I didn't even bring any because you asked me out. So I don't know what we're going to do here, right? Don't try to boss up on a guy or thinking that you're getting over him or you're making yourself look so much better than him by paying. No, because that's his MO. That's if a guy then turns the tide and he asks you to pay, he's not feeling bad about you pulling out your card and having to pay. He doesn't care. At this point, you either catfished him and he's mad, or he's not getting sex and he's mad, or it was never really a real date and he's doing poor broke one. He's trying to get a meal out of you. So either way, bossing up on him and letting him turn the tables on you is not, it's not a good look. That does not work. It doesn't teach him a lesson, right? He doesn't care. He's like, listen, I made her pay. That's how he looks at it. So a lot of people think that date coaches and matchmakers have no place. They have, it's not something that is necessary. But when you're constantly hearing these horrible first date stories, right? Even with some of my clients, like I was able to pull up these videos to pull them onto the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. But my people who come to me, my date coaching clients have the same stories. Time and time again about having their time wasted. And then they get with me and then I give them a strategy. And I'm going to just be honest, for a lot of men who don't have children, do not date women with children. Unless you really, really want a family and you want to play stepdaddy, and don't do it because you think it's self-sacrificial or something you have to do. But if you want a family and you don't mind taking on her children, and you're going to treat them as your own, that's one thing. But don't be the self-sacrificial lamb and thinking that you have to date. You are obligated to date women with children. It's never going to work out. Your heart is not in it. And her expectations of you is going to cause a chasm in that relationship. So I advise all my male clients that if you don't have any children, do not date women with children, right? Women with children should only date men with children. Secondly, you need to figure out what that person wants. And if you are aligned, do they want a relationship? If a man or a woman sits there and says, well, no, I just want to see how things go, that's not a person you want to give any consideration to. They're already telling you you're not going to be able to convince them otherwise. And you shouldn't have to jump through hoops and go for men. You shouldn't have to spend exorbitant amount of money and give her an experience, this out of this world experience, just to get her to change her mind. Ladies, you shouldn't have to sleep with him, wash his clothes, cook his meals, clean up his house in order to get him to change his mind, because that's what's going on. if a person wants what you want, then you just focus on getting to know each other and see how things play out. But people aren't doing that. It's also clear from this video that a lot of these women are broke. And so they're just going out looking for a free meal. They're either going out looking for a free meal with the men that they're not attracted to, or they're looking for sex from the really hot guys. And so they're not doing any vetting. They're not trying to get to know them at all. And I'm just going to be honest, meeting men online, meeting men, especially meeting men online, is a huge risk because unfortunately, all the weirdos are online. I'm going to be 100. I don't know what to call them. All the weirdos. It seems like all the horrible first date stories come from meeting people online. And the worst site is Tinder. All of the horrible, horrible first date stories. There's going to be some good ones out there, right? I'm not saying all of them, but majority of those stories are coming from people who are meeting on Tinder. Again, because Tinder is a site for hooking up. I mean, if you really want marriage, get on somebody's database. The climate, the dating pool now, and I'm not even just saying that because I'm a matchmaker. If I wasn't a matchmaker, I would still say it. Get on someone's database. Women, get on, either you hire a matchmaker. You can't hire me because I don't match for women, but either hire a matchmaker or you just get on their database. Fellas, the same thing. You can either get on a matchmaker's database or you hire a matchmaker. That's where we're headed now. Or you get outside, you touch grass. You have to, in order to meet a high caliber person, you have to have high caliber interests and hobbies. Going to the bar, that you're not going to meet high caliber women at the bar. You're probably not really going to meet too many high caliber men at a bar. It depends on where you're at. Like men who want marriage are not going to be hanging out at the bar all like that, right? Women who want marriage, not going to be hanging out at the bar all like that. It's perpetually single women who are at the bar. If she is over 33 and she is always and she wants marriage, you're not going to find her at the bar. Now the 20 somethings, early 30 something year olds, they're just out having a good time. So it's going to be a hit and miss. But if you really know that you want marriage and you want to start a family, you're going to have to up where you hang out, where you meet people. And hookah lounges, bars, Top Golf, the normal places that people go, you're not going to meet high caliber people. You're just not. High caliber women tend to like museums. They like, they'll be in a gym. They will be in a gym. They take care of themselves. So you meet a nice woman there. She might be a little flaky sometimes, but at least you see what she's working with. You can see that she takes care of herself and she's into getting herself and getting her body right. So you don't have to guess. You don't have to worry about being catfished. But gym, yoga, Pilates, let's see, tennis. Ladies, you'll meet good quality men on the golf course. Get you a group of other women and y'all go out there and start playing tennis and playing golf and hanging out at the golf course and just having a good time and letting these men see how much fun you're having. And guess what? When men see women having a good time, they can't help but to come up to you. You know, come up to you, hey, ladies, what you doing? And then when you start talking to them and you're smiling and you seem very joyful, that laughter and that joy is infectious. Then they'll start buying, hey, can we buy you drinks? And then next thing you know, you're talking, hey, you mind if we sit here? And then next thing you know, numbers could possibly be exchanged, right? So get your little tennis skirt, your little tennis outfits, get your little golf outfits. Museums is a great place. Fellas, museums is a great place to meet women. You might meet a lot of single women with children though, because they do take, it depends on the museum. Let's see, what other place are you going to? Restaurants, high-end restaurants, you're going to come across a lot of single women. High-end concerts, you're going to meet a lot of single women. Let's see, galas, you're going to meet single women at the gala, single men and women at the gala. Political events, charity events, you're going to meet single. And I know people are like, that's not my thing, right? But I'm just saying that when it comes to meeting someone in person, you have to understand that the people who want marriage and the caliber person are not going to be in certain places. And that's just that. So if you don't want to go out, do the work, get a matchmaker, make it easier for yourself. If you just need help with the dating, chaos, I'll be through. I see it when it comes up. I'm about to end this channel, so it'll come through. If you matchmaker, dating, if you don't want to hire a matchmaker, at least hire a dating coach. Hey, hire me, right? Just hire me as a dating coach to help you get through that hump of your dating, right? Or you just buy my book, A Do's and Don'ts Guide for a Successful First Date, right? You can get it on Amazon.com. Type in a name or type in my name, Letitia Underwood, and the book will pop up. And get your copy, and it'll help you with getting from the first date, getting through the first date. And then if you, let's see, great suggestions. I was talking just the other day about where to meet normal women. Everyone starts by suggesting bars and clubs, which isn't where the women yeah, no, you're not going to, Jay, you're not going to find normal, and it's not even normal. You want exceptional women, right? High value men, successful men. You want exceptional women, and you're not going to find them at the bars and the clubs. You're just not. You're going to find them at the museums. You're going to find them at like galleries, especially a gallery. You're going to find them at a gallery, an art gallery. You're going to find them at playing tennis. You're going to find them at symphonies, orchestras, operas, high-end sporting events. You will find them there. At club level, you will find them there. Yeah, because they're out looking for you, right? They're out looking for high caliber men, but they also know that where to go to meet high caliber men. So when you're at the bars, the clubs, the lounges, the hookahs, the movies, just hanging out at your friend's house or the pool or bowling alley, I mean, that's where you're gonna get the normal women, right? That's where you're gonna meet the normal men. But if you really are serious about meeting somebody exceptional, the dating pool is getting murkier and murkier and murkier. I have to try some of these venues. I'm not a naturally outgoing person. If you are not a naturally outgoing person, then you're going to have to get a matchmaker. Get a matchmaker. Either sign up for a database or hire them yourselves. Because just wanting it, sitting back and saying, oh, I want to be in a relationship and I wish I could meet somebody great, it's not going to happen. People get in relationships because they make it happen. They put in the work, they put in the effort. Thank you all for joining the channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you're a regular viewer, thank you very much. Truly appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button and the share button. Share this video, right? So I can reach more people so that the channel can grow. But get them at the way that this dating is just getting worse and worse because people just hate going outside. The pandemic showed us that we don't have to go outside to, entertain ourselves. We don't have to go out like we used to seek pleasure. So people are more and more, and women are definitely in the house more. Oh my gosh. Like that's the biggest problem. That's why women are, but it's weird because more men are online on these online dating sites than are women. But women are inside watching the reality shows. And they're just lamenting and getting on social media and complaining that they can't find anybody. And you wonder, you can't find anybody. And then when they do venture, like they bring their little head up, they come out like a little golfer, right? They get on the dating website and then they meet these horrible, horrible men. And the date is just horrible. One, they don't have any dating. They have what I call dating atrophy. They have no social skills themselves, all like that. And so they meet these men and then they don't know how to vet them. And then they go on these dates and now they're posting on social media about how horrible the date is. That's what happens when you're dealing with men who are either non-committal, they don't know what they want, they're broke, or they don't have social skills either. And so, you got to ask yourself, why are you meeting these men? Why are you putting yourself through this? If you're saying you want marriage, you want children, right? First, you have to figure out what it is that you want. You want marriage, you want children. Then why are you wasting your time with men that seem to not want that either. No man who wants a family is going to sit there and turn the tables on a woman because he can't have sex. Like, if you're meeting men off Tinder, guess what? These men are going to want to have sex. I'm going to be honest with you, ladies. They all want sex. I don't care. If you are Mother Teresa and he's asking you out, he's going to want to sleep with you at some point. That's their that's their end game, is that they want to have sex. And if you're not giving any vibes to the guy that sex is on the table, I'm not saying you have to have sex that night, but if you're not giving him those vibes, he's gonna be like, yeah, I'm not, right? So they all want sex, but you have to be mindful of at what point is he going to be expecting sex? Like, is he the type that wants a committed relationship? Okay, that's the guy I want to have sex with. That's the guy I want to go on a date with. And then, ladies, stop going out with men that you don't like. That's all of these horrible first dates are happening. You're lonely, you're tired of being alone, or you want a free meal, or you just want some companionship, and then you hook up with the first guy who asks you out, and then you don't even like him. So then now you have this horrible first date. Because when you like him, he can take you to Pizza Hut, and you'll find a way to make it the greatest date ever. Oh my gosh, we talked for hours at Pizza Hut. Girl, he let me get extra pepperoni. He let me get the buffet and everything. Let me get the salad bar and everything. So you're going out with men you don't like. Right? You're going out with men you're not attracted to. Stop that. Stop allowing yourself to be put in a very desperate situation because you're tired and you're anxious because you don't know how to pick them. You say you want a very successful man. You want a man who is going to marry you and give you children and pay all the bills and take care of you. And, you're not going to be and he's going to be emotionally connected to you, but yet you're not meeting those men. And you don't know how to meet them. I guarantee you high value men are not online. They're not on these dating sites. They're just not. And no one has come up with a dating app to connect high value men because they just don't want to sit on these apps and deal with that. Right? They hire matchmakers. That's why I exist. That's why I'm in business. High value men hire matchmakers. They outsource everything. They outsource their dry cleaning, they outsource their cooking, their regular cleaning, they outsource their fitness, they outsource their grooming, they outsource help when it comes to their work, they get assistants, right? They outsource everything, and they also outsource love. That's really all of my colleagues. Like, there's a whole, like, matchmaking is $1 billion industry. Majority of people's clients are women, yes, but if you get someone like me who has male clients, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Let's see. Jay says, I'm marriage-minded and family-minded, so I might just need to seek out your services. I could certainly use the help. Jay. And for all the men who are considering matchmaking, if you're in crypto, you got Bitcoin, I accept Bitcoin for your consultation. So sign up for a consultation, go to my website. But yeah, all the good quality people. And also, by the way, all the good quality people have found each other by the age of 25. That's why you don't really see that many out here. That's it. Like, you are in a dating pool of leftover people. All of y'all, the men and the women, everybody's left over. Everybody is left over because they didn't take the time to focus on getting in a relationship. They didn't want it. They did not want a relationship earlier in life. So now they're in their 30s and they're trying to play catch up. But because they've been on the dating market for so long, there's some trauma, there's some psychological damage there that they need to work out. So everybody's expecting for these 30-something-year-old people to just have it together, and they don't. A lot of avoidant attachment styles are coming up. Women have been dealing with so many non-committal men because their pickers are off. Men, the same thing. Pickers are off. Pickers are broken. And so now the dating pool, what's left is dysfunctional people trying to pick the least dysfunctional person. That is the reality of it. But there are some good people out there. There's still some that's, that are looking, they're divorced or they're widowed or never been married because they haven't had the opportunity to come across the right person due to circumstances, but they really want to be in a loving marriage, loving relationship, get married and have kids. And that's both men and women. You just have to find them, and all it takes is one. Jay says, I'll probably never be a high value man on a teacher salary, but I'm working on raising my value in other ways, and I'm nowhere near the dating apps either. That's good, Jay. That's good. So I think I'm gonna go live every Monday. What's today? Monday? Yeah, every Monday night at 7 p.m. with these first date horror stories. This is crazy. Like, this is crazy. Like, you guys, like, I keep telling women, like, and the purpose is not to like trash or bash the men, right? The purpose is to get women to wake up. Wake up. This does not have to be your story. You're allowing it to be your story because you don't want to do better. Like all of those beautiful women. Why? Like, because you are picking the hot guy. Here's the thing. When you have two beautiful hot people together, they are equals. And you want to be put on a pedestal. You want to have the princess treatment. Well, guess what? He doesn't see you that way. He sees you as either beneath him or his equal. He's good looking. He can get lots of women. He can date up and he can date down. Like, he can date beautiful women, ugly women. He can do what he wants. He can get what he wants. So he's not going to put you at that level that you think you deserve or that you would want to be at. You have to be a guy's dream girl. And then you have women who are trying to just get over on men. Right? You're like, well, I can't get the men that I want, so now I'm going to just go with the guy I don't want. And then it is what it is. And then you're left frustrated. You have to train, in order for you to be accepting of your dating lane, you have to have a certain particular mindset. And I'm going to tell you what that mindset is. That mindset is, this is a good man. He's going to treat me well. He's going to marry me. He's going to take care of the family. He's charming. He has a great personality. He cherishes me. He considers me. He's very considerate. And he treats me well. And then you're able to look past the looks. You're able to build a connection with him, an emotional connection with him. You're just looking, if you're truly a marriage-minded woman, you're looking for building a connection. And usually, but that's usually training that happens very early on in life. Your mother is supposed to teach you these things. Your mother is supposed to teach you how to vet out a man who is marriage-minded. And she's also supposed to tell you that those good-looking men don't want marriage. I'm telling you, ladies, the good-looking ones, I'm sorry, they don't. All the good-looking ones are single. Unless they got married in their early years. If he's past 25 and he's single, he's not going to settle down until he's darn near 1 foot in the grave. The people, and the same go for the very beautiful young women. That's why men are complaining, like, why don't beautiful women want to get married in their 20s? Why would they? Why? Because they don't have to. They're having too much fun. But in their 30s, when they're ready to have kids, that's when they're ready to settle down. Beautiful, extremely beautiful people. There has to be an extreme reason as to why they're ready to settle down. For the women, it's they're ready to have kids. For the men, they're just tired. Like, they're tired of being out there. Now they want to feel loved, right? Now they just want the comfort and the companionship, right? And not the good feeling that they had when they were chasing women. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Average to slightly above average people, ladies, average to a slightly above average, him being a good man, him having good character, and him being able to provide. That's the key to marriage. And I get it. You'll say, well, these ugly ones, these ugly ducklings, they're acting out of pocket too. But those are ugly ducklings who are broke. And they're broken. And because they're broke financially, they're broken in spirit. So now they're angry and trying to get back at women. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about successful men, professional men, career-oriented men who are average looking to slightly above average. You know, they don't have that hotness factor, but they're looking for marriage. Every woman that I've helped get married, that I've mentored, that I've coached, that's how they did it. That's how I did it. Well, my husband was handsome to me, but he just had, he was handsome to me, but nobody else would think he is, right? But from myself to my daughter, her fiance, I mean, he's good looking to her, but he's not going to be good looking he's not a select male. Let's just put it like that. The non-select males who have a good head on their shoulders, they have good values, they have good character, they have good morals, they want to commit a relationship. Those men exist. And I'm not talking about men you got to put a bag over their head, but I'm talking about the good ones. And they want marriage. You have to train your mind out of wanting hot men, out of wanting select men. And you'll say, oh, but Letitia, I go out with these guys. No, you don't. You go out with them, but you're not really interested in them. You go out with them to see what it is. Like you're tired. You want somebody to hang out with. You're tired of being alone. And so you try it, but you end up sabotaging it. A lot of you don't know how to be in a relationship with a good man. And that's why you're getting these awful men, because your energy and who you're being basically attracts that. So if you want a good man, you have to be a good woman. You can't just think you're a good woman. You can't just, well, I'm not out there being ratchet, right? I'm not out there whoring around. I'm not out there showing off my body. I have a good job. I have a good career. I look cute and everything. And yeah, I no, but who are you being really? Are you a good, kind person? Are you considerate? Because if you were, then you wouldn't have this mindset of, well, he's not my type, but hey, I'll do it. And then it's like you're doing him a favor, and you treat him like you're doing him a favor. And they can pick up on that. That's how sometimes they end up, you're going to pay for this, because they can pick up on the fact that, you're just trying to get over. Good women don't do that. Good women set boundaries for themselves. Good women set standards for themselves. Good women know how to say no to men that mean them no good. Good women know how to say no to men that they don't want. So you think you're a good woman, but you're not. But you can be. So I'm not saying that it's impossible, it's unlikely. You can be a good woman. You just have to do the work. It starts with you. Stop looking at these men and pointing the finger at these men and blaming it on these men. All of these first date horror stories, yes, they're happening. They are real. But you have to ask yourself, how is this happening? I remember my worst first date, shortly after sometime going through my divorce, after my divorce, I was at my lowest point, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. I was at my lowest point, and I just wanted to feel good. My divorce was very, very tumultuous. Like, he just made me feel like he never loved me, didn't love me, he hated me. And I just wanted to feel good, right? So I went out with a guy. He was cute, he was attractive. And I went out with a guy, and it was the worst date ever. But it became that because I did not give myself time to heal from that process. And so I attracted a guy who was no good. And he could tell from the way that I was communicating. Like, men can tell from the way you're communicating. They're clocking. They're like, the way that they reason out things is they're thinking. They're constantly thinking. And I know there's a particular YouTube person out here saying that men don't think and men are stupid and men are, no. Men are thinkers. Men are thinking everything. They're very analytical. They're analyzing everything. So the way that you talk, they can tell. The way that you come across, they can tell. So met him, he could tell that, this is going to be an easy mark. And it was the worst date. It was the worst date. And after that, I did some self-reflection. I was in therapy. Therapy is great. And I know a lot of people are like, therapy doesn't work. Listen, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be me and I wouldn't be able to have these conversations. And I wouldn't be sitting here in a healthy space if therapy didn't work. I had to go through different therapists and I had to have therapists who created breakthroughs. That's the key. Like my therapist, I had therapists who weren't going to just let me trauma bond or vent. I had to have breakthroughs, and I had some breakthrough moments. And one of those moments were how I was feeling about myself going through that divorce, and that's why I end up going through that situation. And I'm not trying to like make myself a victim or blame myself, but that's just the reality of it. Because once I had that breakthrough, I didn't have those horrible first date stories anymore. I just didn't. Like I typically go first day, second day, third day. We just realize that we're not compatible, especially me being old school, traditional, old fashioned. And a lot of men are being modern. A lot of men are just modern. And we just realize, wow, great people. We could be friends, but we're not going to align because I'm not going to change to be modern and they're not going to change to be traditional. And that's okay. And they can do that. And I can do what I am doing. Right. And then I had another breakthrough in therapy. I love me some blue collar worker men, right? Because they're down to earth, they're good with their hands, and they can get anything done. Blue collar men can make anything work. Like I just love that about them. They're go getters. They're ambitious, and they are self motivated. So I love blue collar entrepreneur men. Like my ex fiance is a blue collar entrepreneur, multimillionaire, and we just, as much as we really loved each other's personalities and we love the traits, our lifestyles just did not mesh. Like I'm the opera type girl, I'm the symphony girl, I'm the ballet, and I'm dressed up. Like no matter where I go, I'm gonna have some heels on. And he's more of a laid back, shorts and button up t-shirt and hand me a cold one and go bowling, right? Type of guy. Not that it was an issue for me, because I'm amenable, but he just had a problem with the fact that if I'm going to throw a dinner, it's going to be several courses and it's going to be names. Like you're gonna have places, you're gonna have place settings, like you know what I'm saying. Like he said I could never be regular. It's like, you could never be regular. Why can't you just be regular? Because I'm not regular. I'm just not that. I like throwing parties, but I like going all out, right? I love a theme and I love dressing up and I love wearing my makeup. And I've been that way since I was a little girl. I loved playing dress up and I love looking good and I love looking pretty and I love my soft, feminine, dainty, girly self, right? And a lot of blue collar men, they need women who aren't so girly. And maybe not all of them are like that. I'm just saying my personal experience have been that when I've dated these guys, me being so dainty and girly, at sometimes it just becomes too much. So then there'd be a clash in personalities. So I had a therapist who told me, Letitia, your problem is you need to be dating higher class white collar men. And I was like, no. And so I actually got a coach. I got an etiquette coach. Although I didn't really need too much because my mother and my grandmother trained me on etiquette. But I knew that I needed to understand a lot more about these men. And so I started talking to these men, going around interviewing, talking to them, and just being around them and just understanding them. Before I even got into this business, I was learning them, right? I was learning them. And so then I started dating them and realized, wow, this is so much easier. It's so much easier because we have the same things. I don't have to like go to the ballet by myself. I don't have to go to the symphony by myself. I don't have to worry about him saying, why are you dressed up? We're not going anywhere. Or why are you dressed up when we're going just, because the places he's going to go require me to be dressed up. So that was one of the breakthroughs I had in therapy, right? So you get your therapist and your therapist helps you have breakthroughs. Even with a lot of my coaching clients, I help them have breakthroughs. Like a lot of my coaching clients, I've helped them if they're coming to me about their romantic life and they're in therapy. It's like me and the therapist are working in tandem. So like when I get to talking about attachment styles, and they go back to their therapist, and the therapist is like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to get you to understand all this time. I've just been slow walking it through, talking about your childhood and things like that, and getting you to understand that your triggers are your triggers, and your triggers are coming from previous events in your childhood and things like that, of that nature and stuff. So it works. You have to have a program in place for yourself. And the first step is get in therapy. And if you're in therapy, get a coach, hire a dating coach to help you navigate through your relationships, because sometimes a therapist can only go so far. Like they're not experts in the dating climate, especially if they're married. Like they can tell you how to navigate from a metaphysical standpoint, but they're not experts. They're not collecting data on relationships and dating and mating and behavioral patterns in the mating on the mating market. So it can only go so far. So work in tandem. And if you don't want to hire me, hire somebody. If you want to work with a male coach, hire somebody. Stay away from the pickup artists, because all they're going to do is talk to you from a superficial level, when it's so much deeper than that. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. You're not going to get very far with a good caliber woman if you're treating her as if she doesn't matter. All this talk of, oh, you got to treat her like she doesn't matter. You know who likes that? Psychologically damaged women like that. They like that game. They like to play that game. Narcissistic women play that game. And there's a lot of narcissistic women out here, but those are the only ones. Good women don't want to be treated like crap. So all this talk of, well, just ignore her, you can't give her too much, and do this and do that. And like, you're not meeting good women with that. You're only going to be meeting psychologically damaged narcissistic women. Ladies, the same thing with you. If you're playing this game of, oh, girl, you don't lie to him, get what you can get out of him, and do this and do that, and oh, you just got to talk like this, and you just got to do like this, and you just got to look pretty. If there's nothing on the inside, all you're going to attract is fake men, because you're being fake. So water seeks its own level. So if you're getting fake men, it's because you're fake. Let's just keep it honest. Are you an authentic person? Listen, fake men do not bother with authentic women. They can't stand it. They'll probably try it, but once they realize you're authentic, meaning you're authentic and you have boundaries, authentic people have very strong boundaries. They don't sacrifice them. So once you realize you have boundaries, he's out of there. But then you get so frustrated because he walks away and it's like, oh, I really liked him. But no, you're not looking at it from a blessing standpoint. He did you a favor. He did you a favor. So I tell women time and time again, like, this does not have to be your story. It just doesn't. Like, I've helped so many women get what they want, whether it doesn't even matter if he's just a good man. Like, a lot of you are not even psychologically prepared to even just be in a relationship with a good man. And that's why you're getting these duds and these dusties. And complaining about them on social media is not going to solve that problem. This is a you problem, ladies. This is a you problem. If you're tired of broke men, then don't date broke men. That's all out there. And yeah, people are like, oh, it's only about it's 20%, like 60% of men are in the middle class and up, right? 60% of men. So that's a large pool. That's a majority of men that's making at least $45,000 a year. If you're making $45,000 and he's making $45,000, you're going to have a pretty good household, right? And he's making $45,000. Guess what? He is not taking you to Applebee's. If he likes you, if he's looking for a wife, he's not taking you to Applebee's. Is he taking you to a Michelin star restaurant? No. But is he going to take you to a nice steakhouse? Of course. He can afford a nice little steak dinner every now and again. Is it going to be all that? No. I mean, he's not going to be doing it all the time. Can he afford a nice little outing? Sure. But again, you have to be something that he desires. What a lot of women fail to realize is Men are checking for your value when they first meet you. What is your value? For women, your immediate value is how you look. How do you look? Are you taking care of yourself? Do you care about yourself? Do you like yourself, first of all? So are you taking care of yourself? And no matter what, men want what they want. All men like beautiful, hot, sexy women. I was talking to another former client about this. All men like beautiful, hot, sexy women. They all do. I don't care whether they have money or don't have money. They all want the beautiful, hot, sexy women. But men know and realize the lane that they're in. So they accept what's in their dating lane, the reasonable ones. And most of them are reasonable. So they accept what's in their dating lane, right? But so then they're checking to see how much value do you have to offer, because let's just face it, majority of the women are overweight and obese. So already right there, your value is low because you're not taking care of yourself. They find you to be unattractive. Now, some do have a very pretty face. And if you have a pretty face and you're overweight, they're going to give you a chance, right? Those men are going to give you a chance if you're overweight or obese and you have a pretty face. So then he's going to be checking for, well, okay, what else do you offer? Like, what is your value? And a lot of women don't realize your value lies in your femininity. That is your superpower. Not fake femininity, not like just, putting on this soft voice and acting like a princess. That's not true femininity. Femininity is who you are from the inside, your nurturing side. And if you have a nurturing side, then you have a kind and caring side. And then truly feminine women do have boundaries, because we know that we're very, very agreeable, right? Since I'm a very agreeable woman, I have to have very strong boundaries. I have to have a standard, meaning he has to be X, Y, and Z, but it's not a standard as in, oh, because I'm a princess and I'm this and I'm that, and you have to treat me this way. I know that I'm very agreeable, and I can say yes, and I can be agreeable, and I can submit to any man. But I know that I want to be if I want to be married, right? If I want to have children, if I want to not struggle, if I want to be a stay-at-home wife, then he has to have some money. He has to have some etiquette. He has to have some class about him. So that's a standard for every single man. So that's a standard a feminine woman should set for herself. For every single man. Doesn't matter how hot he is, doesn't matter how sexy he is. That standard is for every man. And you say no to the ones who don't meet that criteria. So you don't get caught up out here having babies by dusties or unworthy and undeserved men. You don't get caught up out here by having sex with undeserving, unworthy men. Feminine women, truly feminine women, will say no to men who mean them no good, men who don't meet their criteria. That's how you know she's a truly feminine woman. A truly feminine woman doesn't have to play games to get over on a man. A truly feminine woman, just by being who she is, gets what she desires, what she needs from men. Truly feminine woman is not going to be taken on these low value, low effort dates. I have never got offered a walk in the park for a date. I've never got offered coffee. I got offered Applebee's one time for that one date after my divorce. Other than that, the men already knew and understand. And then when men are talking to me, it's like, oh, I know you won't go there. I know you won't do this. So, but yeah, I did this and that. And I'm like, like Cheesecake Factory, they think it's building beneath me. Listen, I love Cheesecake Factory, but no man will offer me that on a first date, even though I love it. But they won't offer me that because they're like, no, I can't take her there. There's absolutely no way. Like, she's a very classy lady. I can't take her to a place that's not classy. Ladies, men are not dumb. They know who has class and who doesn't. Even if you're trying to put on like you have class, they're not going to say anything about it to your face because they don't want to hurt your feelings. So they'll take you where you're showing them. So if you don't have class, no, they're not going to take you to a classy place. You're not feminine. You're not soft. They don't want to be embarrassed in these environments. And if he's a high value man and these are places he frequents, he's definitely going to bypass you. He's not going to take you to these places because you lack class, you lack etiquette. And that is not a dig. I'm not here to drag women. But you guys, isn't it time? Like Valentine's Day is coming up. Like, how many stories are we going to see on social media about these men ain't ish and these men, but then you get to watch on social media about these women who are having these great, man, the men are going all out for them. Don't you want that to be you? If you want that to be you, that's going to require something of you. You're going to have to do something to attract men who do that. And there's two types of men who do that. There are men who are seeking women to build off of. And once they're done building off of and the woman was able to help them build, then they'll pay her back in kind. Nothing wrong with it, but hey, if that's what the woman wants and she's all for it, go for it. And then there's the other men who are like, listen, you're a good woman. I want a wife. I want a woman who's going to be here and support me. You're useful to me. You make life easier for me. And just by you doing the things that women do, and he's going to reward her. Don't you want that to be you? Let's not continue this trend of these dating skits and these dating lists and these first date horror stories. You should only have 1 or 2 first date horror stories. That is it. Not every single day. You should not have more than 2 first date horror stories. It should take you once is a coincidence. 2 times is a mistake. Is it once is a mistake, 2 times is a coincidence, and the 3rd time is something you chose. It's who you're choosing. So the Matchmaker with Letitia Underwood is all about women who attracting high value men in the top 5% for the purpose of long-term committed relationships that could lead to marriage. And you're not going to attract a high value man by dating low value men. You're not going to attract high value men by being a low value woman. And low value women, again, high value women, again, know how to say no to low value men. Now, is it perfect? Is it self-aid? Is it foolproof? No, because there are some men who like to play games and lie. But a high value woman, right, can, if her vetting is good, once she vets out very quickly that, okay, this guy is not who he's saying who he is, and she's out. Happened to me. Met a really good looking guy. Oh man, he was like, oh, I live out in Beverly Hills. I got this, I got that. And then I think it was 2 weeks. Turned out the man had nothing, no money. Because he got mad because I wouldn't give him that. 2 weeks and I was out of there. I was like, oh no. Once I realized that this was a scam artist, I'm out of there. So ladies, I know what I'm talking about because I've been there. Right? I've been there. But that doesn't have to be your story. You don't have to continue to go down this path and deal with this. But I just think there's a lot of reticence. Like women are just like, I'm tired. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to deal with this. Of course, you're going through the worst when you're dealing with men in the lower socioeconomic classes. They have the worst problems: the alcohol, the drinking, the drugs, the poor behavior, lack of etiquette, lack of conflict resolution, not wanting to get married, shacking, just wanting to shack up or just wanting to have babies, non-committal, infidelity is at its highest there. Like it's just so many problems with men in the lower socioeconomic class. But are you going to qualify? So like, and like a lot of you, like, let's just keep it real, ladies. You're all broke. When you're going out with a man for a meal, it's because you don't have the money. You don't have the money to take yourself out really like that. You don't have the income to take yourself out like that. You're busy paying bills. I get it. Paying down your school debt. I get it. So you're looking for a man to come in and rescue you. And there's nothing wrong with that. You should want to be rescued by a man. You're just trying to get rescued by the wrong ones. Those men can't rescue you. They're looking for a woman to help rescue them. But you can't get a man who's going to play the knight in shining armor when you don't even know how to be the damsel. And I'm just like, first, it does start with how you look. If you don't want to build with him on his way up, then you're going to have to look like what he wants while he's at the finish line. While he's already achieved his goals, you're going to have to look like something. Now, if he's building his way up and you're willing to ride that wave, you got a cute face, okay body, you have a great personality, you're kind, you're considerate, you're in there. So ladies, if you don't want to get in the gym, get with a guy who is building on his way up. But now these men, even those men are like, yeah, no, I'm not accepting that. Get in the gym, get a great health plan. I've been saying this for years since I've been on social media. Men are not going to change. They're not. They want what they want. Only the men in the lower socioeconomic classes, the scammers, the narcissists, the time wasters like big women. I'm just going to keep it real. The men who say, oh, I like a bitch, she got to have a little meat on her, they're broke. Now, in their 20s, whatever, they're having fun. They're just trying to have sex. Men who are non-committal like big women. Men who don't want to settle down, don't want to get married, don't want to be in a relationship, they like big women because they're focused on sex. And the number one genre for porn is BBWs. So men like big women when it comes to sex. When it comes to an everyday thing, I have to wake up, I have to look at you every day, I have to be around you every day. I got to take you out, take you around my friends and family. They're going to want you to be smaller. So if you don't want to deal with men in the lower socioeconomic class, you're going to have to do some things to attract men in the higher socioeconomic classes. And all these problems that you're having comes from men in the lower socioeconomic class. And people don't understand economic class. So I know they're going to argue, Letitia, she's educated or he's educated or he got money. That means absolutely nothing. You can take the person out the lower socioeconomic class, but you can't take their socioeconomic class out of them. How they were raised says a lot, right? I'm talking about men who are born and raised in the middle class and up. Middle class men come from two-parent households. I don't care if their parents were divorced and remarried, but they come from two-parent households. If their mother is divorced, the father is still in the life, right? Or she remarries someone else. They usually go to very good schools. They live in the suburbs. They grew up in the suburbs. They went to very good schools with very strict criteria and standards. And they didn't go to schools that had the metal detectors, graffiti everywhere, people fighting everywhere. Even though these schools had their problems, but they weren't widespread, right? It just wasn't troublesome schools. These schools would be rated excellent, right? And then they have hobbies and interests. They get into sports. They get into intramural sports, or school sports. They have hobbies and interests outside of just hanging out with their friends. Their parents, their mothers influence their lives and getting their hockey, swimming, tennis, basketball, football, what else? Academic decathlon, stuff like that, math leagues, different clubs and schools, right? They're going to be a part of these things, right? They're going to be pushed to be productive and do well in school. Not saying that all of them are, but for the most part, they're going to be pushed to do well, right? So their background is just completely different. That would be in their background. So because that's in their background, they know how to engage and socialize, right? You more than likely probably didn't see mommy and daddy outside cussing everybody out, fighting everybody, right? Even though they're probably arguing within the household, right? They were arguing and fighting and the marriage didn't work out, but those conflicts are different than the conflicts that you see in the lower socioeconomic class. And trust me when I tell you that. Those conflicts are different, right? These kids didn't have to go to school worrying about in this day and age, you got to worry about a shooter coming in, but you don't have to worry about on a regular daily basis your classmate coming to school with guns and things of that nature. It's just not the same. Their backgrounds are different, so their psychology is different. Not saying that they don't have their own problems. It's just different. Like the problems that they come with, you can contend with. Like the men in the middle, upper middle, the higher socioeconomic classes, they got egos. They got egos that you got to contend with. Ego and arrogance is something you have to contend with them, right? And then you got to weed out the non-committal ones versus the marriage-minded ones. I'm not. It's just different. Like the aggression, like the abuse. It's just so different. Like the ego, like there are going to be some narcissists, but it's not going to be so many because narcissism comes out of a lot of childhood trauma. So I'm not saying that they're all infallible and they're perfect. It's just different. And this is why I focus on women, focusing on trying to attract men in the higher socioeconomic classes. Like when I was a young girl growing up, because I know a lot of people think that I grew up with a silver spoon in my mouth or I grew up in the higher socioeconomic classes, but no, I grew up poor. That's how I know you can do it, because I've been able to do it successfully. I've not had to date poor men. I have not had to date men from the socioeconomic classes, the class that I was born into. So those men and the way that they look, the way that they think, you don't have to be subjected to being stuck to dating with those men. But if you don't want to change, you don't want to do the work to elevate yourself, then that's what you're going to get. And for women who are born in the upper middle socioeconomic classes, and then you can't find a man in the higher socioeconomic classes, something's wrong with you. Because they all at some point gonna want marriage. If that's what's around you, you tend to want what you grew up with. Marriage and children. That's the way of life. That's the American living. He doesn't work for himself. He's working for a purpose, a family. Right? He wants to pass down something for his family. And if you're not able to get one, don't come to me talking about Letitia, these men. No, they're not as different. It is different. And I can help you ladies vet out that narcissism, because trust me, it's there. But yes, you got to vet that out very quickly, very early on, and then move on to the next. You just have to find the men who are marriage minded, and most of them are going to be situated in the higher socioeconomic classes. Stop wasting your time with men in the lower socioeconomic classes. That's why you have these horrible, horrible, horrible first date stories. That's why you got to make up these lists. I'm not going to Cheesecake Factory. I'm not going to Olive Garden. Listen, a man in the upper middle class, listen, my man does not do chain restaurants. I told him I like Cheesecake Factory, and the look he gave me, I was like, oh gosh. He was like, and then like I was visiting him, and there was this cute little Colombian restaurant that I wanted to try because I wanted some paella, right? And he was like, really, you really want to go there? And I was like, yeah, I want some paella, and I want a little, cocktail. And he's like, okay, I'm not gonna eat, just so you know. And I was like, what? You really aren't gonna eat? He's like, no. So we get there, and I'm like, he's like, she'll have, because he orders for me. This is what they do. Like they're, oh my gosh, you're such gentlemen. Pulls out my chair. I sit down. He's talking to me. We're talking. The waitress comes up, and he's talking to her, and he's like, she'll have. And the waitress looks at me. And she's like, ooh. I was like, oh yeah, this is normal. This is what he does. And he doesn't order himself anything. And I'm like, babe, you're not gonna eat? And he's like, no. And I'm like, why not? And he's like, I told you, I wasn't gonna eat here. He's like, I don't do chain restaurants. Y'all, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, so you're dead serious. You really don't eat from chain restaurants. He'll never take me to Cheesecake Factory. I mean, he might take me, but he won't eat. So, like, there are men, like my clients, like a lot of them, like, even if that's something that they will do when it comes to a first date, like, they're going to be considerate of the woman. They're going to be considerate of the woman. They're like, listen, we're going on a date. She's getting herself together, and she's putting herself together and looking good. And I'm not going to take her just anywhere. Men in the lower socioeconomic classes do not value what you're doing for them. So all that talk about your makeup and how much you're spending on your makeup, how much you spend on your hair and your clothes and what you've done to get ready, they don't care about any of that. They just look at it like that's what you're supposed to do. But men in the higher socioeconomic classes, they appreciate this. Even my ex-husband, like he loved it. He loved that I went through such lengths, even at such a young age, keeping myself together. And he appreciated that, and he rewarded me for it. So when you are dealing with men in the lower socioeconomic classes, yeah, they were born, even if they have money, they're still were born in a socioeconomic classes, so they have no appreciation for a woman making sure that she's looking good for the man. It's like, so who cares? But men in the higher socioeconomic classes, like I was listening to somebody's YouTube channel. I'm not going to say who he is because he's a good friend of mine. No, I am Mr. Let Go. Mr. Let Go. Sorry, I had to put your name out there, but he was looking at this woman's video and he was critiquing her. And I thought he was unfairly critiquing her because she was talking about how her Mars concealer cost $35. And he was like, who cares? Not saying that he was born in a lower socioeconomic class, I don't know. But he was like, who cares? And I'm looking at the comments and the men are like, and I'm like, but yeah, men don't care about makeup, but the fact that she's putting in effort to look good, right? She could have just threw her hair in a ponytail and some sweats and showed up. Men in the higher socioeconomic class appreciate that. They don't, like women can. This is why women in the lower socioeconomic classes wearing bonnets everywhere, because the men don't care. The men don't care. They don't care how the women look. They get on social media, they complain, but then you complain about how she's fixing herself up to look good for you. So you know who does care and who does appreciate and who's going to reward you for keeping yourself tight and right and fit? Men in the higher socioeconomic classes. They're going to reward you with that missus. They're going to reward you with that ring. When you are useful to them, you're cooking for them, you're cleaning for them, you're taking care of them. You know what? They're going to reward you with commitment. They're going to reward you with a ring. Not commitment, because you should already have the commitment when you're doing that stuff. They're going to reward you with the ring, whereas the men in the lower socioeconomic classes looking at you like my mama did that. So that's what you got to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Like their mother did everything for them, hid them, took care of them. So they're looking at you like that's what you're supposed to do. Whereas they're not realizing that that is a collaborative effort. That is a collaborative effort on a woman's part in the relationship. Whereas men in the higher socioeconomic classes, they see that as a collaborative effort and they appreciate you for it. So they reward you for it. So ladies, when you are, listen, if you want to be stuck in the situation that you are in, keep doing what you're doing. If you want something different, do something different. You have to be that which you say you are and not just say you are. You have to be that what you are and not just what you say you are, because men can tell. They can tell. They definitely can tell, especially the ones who got something going for themselves. And if you want to do something different, you want to change, subscribe to the Love Life Revive online course. That's the first step into helping you revive your love life by helping you to become an authentic woman who is truly functioning in her feminine energy and being able to attract a high value man. Most of these women out here, most of these channels, most of these coaches out here, they don't deal with high value men. They don't focus on men. They focus on women. All they do is focus on you and your self-help journey, but they also don't teach you how to be cooperative with a man. They don't teach you how to be in a relationship with a good man or how to be in a relationship with a high value man, because unfortunately a lot of them are not in proximity to them. So they don't have an understanding of them. So what the teaching is not going to work. That's why you're still out here floundering. You're listening to all this stuff, but it's not helping. It's not working. Because you have to be educated from the perspective of a woman who will be the wife to a high value man, a woman who will be a wife to men in the higher socioeconomic classes. I do not recommend women marry men in the lower socioeconomic classes. I do not. Marriages rates are in the toilet at that class anyway. So the likelihood of you getting married is not high. So I do recommend that women level up and marry men in the higher socioeconomic classes. If you are a woman from the lower socioeconomic classes, you could easily marry a man from the middle class, mid to upper middle class, but mostly the middle class, right? You might even look up and get you a big baller shot collar, upper class. Depends on you, right? Depends on how much work you want to put in. So the Love Life Revive online course is there to help you level up. It's not just the online course. You don't stop there, right? You also have me as your personal mentor guiding you every step of the way. And then you also have the Elite Lady Society group where you have a group of like-minded women to help you on this journey, to help lift you up, uplift you, and to build a network with and to meet. We're having our first annual retreat coming up, and there's going to be a lot of exciting things, exciting things. I'm here to help you on your level up journey. It's not just about teaching you. It's not just about telling you the things that you should do as like some of these coaches out here. A lot of these I'm not gonna call them coaches, these influencers out here are just teaching you in the same vein as male pickup artists. But that does not last long, and that's why you're not getting the results. I have 3 women that I mentored with over the past 3 years that I've mentored, helped, given advice to, given tips to, who have gone on to get married. And they're not married to broke men. That's this year, just this year. Within this year, and I think late last year was the other one got married. The first one got married. 2 got married. That's not the only women I helped get married, but those are the most recent ones. So if you are tired of the dusties, you're tired of the broke men, complaining about them solves absolutely nothing. You're attracting dusty, broke men because you are broken inside. And when you're broken inside, that's all you're going to be able to attract. Good men get spotted a mile away, or you're going to reject and sabotage good men. Even if you can get one, you're going to reject and sabotage him. You're going to sabotage that dynamic because you don't even understand. You don't even know how to be in a relationship with a good man. So there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of unlearning, basically. A lot of this comes down to programming, how you were socialized. And the purpose of the course is to help with mindset transformation. But it's not just me talking at you. It's really giving you real tips. It's not about just game. It's not about what you need to do. It's about helping you to become the woman that you really believe that you are, you think you are, that you say you are. Because if you really are that woman, then that should play out in your love life. But unfortunately, it's not. So I'm not here to bash women, throw women under the bus. That's not who I am. I love women, not in a romantic sense, but I'm a girl's girl. I'm a girl. I'm a woman. And so I want to help women, and I want women to get what they want. And I want women to be happy. I want women to know what it feels like to be happy with a man, to be in love and not have to be bitter and mad all the time. I don't have that. Like, I don't have a bitter bone in my body when it comes to men. I wholeheartedly love men. Not that all men are good or great. I stay clear away from the ones who aren't. And that's why I'm able to have this joy in my heart, and I can smile when I talk about men. When I think of my man, when I think of the experiences, I can smile. And I want that for other women. I know how that feels. When I talk to my daughter, when she came to me and said, "Mom, we're talking about marriage," and I asked her, I said, are you ready? And I just asked her, why do you want to get married? And she gave me this answer that was so full of joy for her fiance, for her then boyfriend, that I was like, yeah, she's ready. She wants this. She's not jaded. Like, she's only had, this is the first real relationship she's ever had. She's never been with anyone else. And right out the gate, she was able to meet a great guy because her vetting was on point. Her standards were on point, the criteria, and she did not sacrifice and deviate from that. She's not an ugly girl. She's a very beautiful girl, very vibrant, vivacious young girl. And she had men hitting on her, but she knew what she wanted. And what she wanted was a good, solid relationship with a good man who was going to cherish her. And she rejected all the men who wasn't giving her that, who wasn't offering her that from the very beginning. And there is ways that you can see that about a man. You can tell very early on. If you're online and a man says, "Here's my number, call me," throw him away. That is not a man who's going to cherish you. That is a man who's looking to be cherished. He sees himself as the prize. So, and he doesn't see you as such. So any man who offers you, I'm not talking to you, Chaos. Why you always got to ask me that question? My man is black. Yes, her fiance is white, but I don't see the difference. My daughter is engaged to a white man, but I'm with a black man, and I still have the same feelings about my man. Right? Even my ex-husband, when we first got together, oh my gosh, it wasn't until he went to Iraq and started suffering from PTSD that we had problems. But man, when we were the beginning, oh my gosh, like it was like even going through that tumultuous divorce, I was able to come out undamaged from it because I really know how to pick, and I picked well. If it doesn't work out, I just look at it as, okay, we're not compatible. And just because we're not, I don't have any expectations that I'm going to be compatible with every man that is interested in me. And that's the problem. You want it to be right with every man, and you can't accept when it's not. If you get rejected, or if it's not going your way, you struggle with that. But sometimes it's just not meant to be, and that's okay. And that comes down to your attachment styles. You don't know how to let go. But anyway, I kind of went on a tangent. But yeah, it's like I want women to feel that joy. Like, oh my gosh, my client called me and said, Letitia, when she reached out to me, she said, Letitia, girl, I have to tell you, remember my story. And her story was so heartbreaking and so sad. And I talked to her and I had conversations with her, and she's been around me and she was listening. And I actually told her, I said, listen, go get you a matchmaker. Go get you a Jewish matchmaker. And you have to be open to this and that. And she did it. And within 7 months, y'all, I think she found her, the matchmaker found her match within 3 months. And by the time she came to me to let me know, they were together for 7 months. And then they were together a year when he proposed, and they just got married. And seeing those pictures and listen, and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of times it takes a really good man. It takes a woman to feel good and the joy for her to start looking good. You ever notice that, y'all ladies? Y'all ever notice you look your best when you got a good man, and when you don't, you putting on weight. You don't care about how you look. You don't care about how you dress, your hair, your makeup. You just whatever, right? Or after you've been dealing with so many poor choices, you start to let yourself go. Like, that's why a lot of women are overweight and obese. I get it. But ladies, when you have the love of a good man and you feel good about your relationship, you feel good in a relationship, y'all, oh my gosh, the transformation, I was like, wow, girlfriend look good. Oh my gosh, when I first saw her, I kind of was like, oh. But now I'm like, wow, she was an ugly duckling that turned into a swan, and it came from the love that she had for her man, and the love he had for her. And you see all these bitter women walking around, these bitter, angry. Look at them. The scarves tied on their heads, bloated looking faces, bloated bodies, skin is horrible. It's just, and they're just mad. Your mindset, your mental health can be affected by your mating choices. And that's why I say, like, you need to choose better. so that you can make sure that your well-being is intact and your mental health is intact. And I don't care anybody says, we're not meant to be alone. We are not meant to be alone. That's why the ones who are alone are miserable. They're the ones crying and screaming the loudest, and they're miserable. So, ladies, all it takes is one good man, but you have to know how to be in a relationship with him. And even if you don't want to be with a high value man, that's okay. You don't have to be, but you do need to be with a good man, and you have to have the skills to attract him and to keep him. And unfortunately, your results are showing otherwise. So, the subscribe to Love Laugh Revive online at my website www.twoheartsexclusive.com. This program is for older women. It is especially designed for older women. For women under 35, it says for women over 40, but if you are 35 and up, I will accept you into the course. If you listen, if you're an old soul, you're ready to get married, any woman can really sign up for it, really. But it's really geared towards helping older women who want better outcomes. I do have another program that I'm rolling out for the women under 35, but for right now, Love Life Revive online is for the older women, and the Elite Lady Society is for everybody. So you can go onto Facebook. You can sign up for Elite Lady Society, but in order to get invited to the retreats, to get pinned as an elite lady, you have to take an online course. If you are a woman who desires to get on my database for matchmaking, you have to take a course first. You can't. My database is not available and open because I realize that too many women need some training and education. So hopefully, when you hear this, you can understand my heart and know that I'm really here to try to help you get better outcomes, because this is ridiculous. I get it, and I understand that the dating pool has mess in it. I hear you and I sympathize with you. So I'm not here trying to hold anybody accountable, because I don't hold adults accountable. You hold yourself accountable. All I'm saying is this does not have to be. It doesn't have to be this way. These horrible first dates, not getting your needs met, it doesn't have to be this way. And with that being said, hope to see you guys on the next time. And until then, this is the Matchmaker, and I am out.